Hey guys, welcome to the Great by Choice podcast. Today I am joined by the Choristers who sang at the King's Coronation. So would you like to introduce yourselves, guys?
I'm Sarah Johnston, I'm in 5th year.
I'm Emily Wilson and I'm in lower 6th.
I'm Evie Mills and I'm in upper 6th.
I'm Gheel and I'm in upper 6th.
Thanks guys. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the process and the day itself and any advice you'd give. So first of all, let's go back to the beginning. So talk us through the selection process. How is it decided which singers were going to be partaking in the King's Coronation? How did you guys end up with the inimitable task?
Yeah, well, in February half term, just before, we were told that there's a special event coming up, but we weren't told exactly what that would be. So I think there was a bit of anticipation that was building there because we weren't sure what it was. So we were given the music, and then over half term, we're told to not learn it, but have an idea of it. And then we were all brought in straight after half term and told that it would be the King's Coronation that we would be performing at. So we went in one by one and sang the 2 songs. So it was Zadok the Priest and I Was Glad. I think from that we kind of guessed that it would be the coronation, but we weren't obviously 100% sure. So I think it's probably better not knowing exactly what it was, because I feel like we weren't as nervous because we're just going in and seeing what happened. So yeah, so the audition process was a bit nerve-wracking, but at the same time we were all just wanted to go and show what we could do.
Yeah. I think as well it was very detailed because there's probably around like 80 people maybe who auditioned, and they had to cut that down to 7 people. So I mean, they cut it down first of all to the 12, and then they had to get the reserves from that as well. So I mean, there was probably multiple auditions that we did, and I think as well they sort of did auditions to see how we blended with each other as well, like blended within the choir. So I think overall it was very like detailed sort of process.
Yeah, must have been difficult to prepare for something you didn't know what you were preparing for, I suppose. But so talk us through after that, and you guys found out obviously that it would be you who'd be singing at the coronation. So just talk us through sort of what happened after that to the point of the coronation itself, practices, by yourself in groups, or whatever happened really in between.
I know like outside of school as well, like in preparation for the audition, but even just once we found out who got in, I practiced different things with my singing teacher, just bits that I was a bit stuck on. But in school, we rehearsed like pretty much 3 times a day, morning, lunch and after school, almost every day. So, and then we also gave up our games time on Wednesday afternoon to do it in the double period. So like it was quite a lot, but
Yeah, we had like multiple rounds of auditions as well, and they were all with different pieces. So that kind of like forced us to go home and learn it. There was one day that she literally handed us something, and then she was like, right, we're going to have another audition tomorrow. And you had to just learn it once you got home. And but it helped us prepare really well, because then we had learned so much of it so thoroughly, and there wasn't like we came into the rehearsals in the Abbey and we felt very prepared. And, we would come to certain songs that Andrew said, oh yeah, I haven't actually done this with the rest of the choir yet, so we actually felt a bit ahead of the game in that sense.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll be prepared for anything after that. So talk us through the day itself. How are you feeling? Were you nervous? What was it like, being in the Abbey itself?
Yeah, so we woke up at 5 a.m. the morning of the coronation. So because it was obviously going to be a really busy day, so we had a lot to do. So we arrived at the Abbey at around 7:30 in the morning. Just to avoid the traffic, I think, because obviously London was very busy that day. So once we got there, we got our gowns on and got ready and kind of just relaxed, because I think most of it, like we'd all been so well prepared that nerves weren't really like a big factor. Obviously there was some nerves, but at the same time I think we were more just so excited and like getting ready to see our hard work being paid off. So yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah, I think the preparation we had done beforehand, because we'd been over on 2 trips, sort of about 2 weeks before the coronation, and we'd been over the whole week, sort of like up to the coronation. So the amount of practices we'd done, like just the trebles and sopranos, and with the whole choir as well, and in the Abbey, I think we really were prepared. We'd been through everything, and we knew as much as we could for the day, so we just got ready and relaxed for the thing. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so obviously a lot of us weren't able to be there, so we watched it on TV. Now, I'm interested, did any of you guys watch it back? What did you think whilst you were watching? Were you able to spot yourself and take away photo?
Well, I mean, after we came out and like went on our phones, and we'd seen like lots of people sending us photos of us on the TV, which was a bit, it was kind of surreal because we weren't expecting to see so much of ourselves. So
I think as well on the TV, like the whole, because obviously we'd been in the Abbey the whole time, we didn't actually get to see the king sort of coming up in his carriage, and there was like all the bits of celebrities down the other end. Obviously there was bits we couldn't see, so it was interesting actually being able to see that on the TV. So.
Sure. Yeah, and obviously, Hannah, you were saying, you know, your friends had recognised you, but Evie, you have a pretty high-profile person who recognised you, don't you?
Yeah, so the week or so, a couple of weeks after we had come back home from the coronation, Camilla and Charles had come over to Armagh. I think it was just a part of their like tour around the island and stuff, and we'd been invited to come and greet them, and Camilla actually said that she recognised me from the TV and said that I'd gotten a lot of coverage, which was a huge surprise because I didn't even really expect her to have watched it back, because obviously it was such a big part about her. It just doesn't feel like something you would have watched back necessarily, but clearly she did, and she recognised me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go. So what were your highlights? I mean, obviously the day itself, but apart from that, you know, must have been fun, you know, living together, you know, going out in London and stuff. And, you know, there was a concert after, so did you guys go to that? You know, what were your highlights, basically, the whole thing?
Yeah, obviously we spent probably 2 weeks all together, so I think at the start I was quite nervous, obviously, because being the only one in my year, but the girls made me feel so welcome, and obviously I'm really good friends with them now, so it's been such a great experience and like something new, just to meet new people. But yeah, we went to the Coronation concert the day after, so we were very tired that morning because the nerves from the day before, it all just kind of caught up with us. But we knew there's another event to attend to, so it was also really exciting. But I think the queue to get into Windsor was definitely an experience, because the amount of people, I don't know the exact number, but there was lots of people at the Coronation concert, so even trying to find a space to stand proved to be quite difficult, but yeah, it was just amazing. And obviously seeing the celebrities that have watched us the day before performing on the big stage, it was just a really strange but really cool experience.
Yeah, and we got to see Hamilton as well. We were over there, which was such an experience, you know. It was nice to sort of not just be rehearsing, but also have things while we're over there, which you wouldn't normally get to see, obviously, when you're over here.
yeah, also like where we stayed was like pretty great, and it didn't really feel like a hotel. It felt more like, I mean, for me, it almost felt like we were in boarding school.
Yeah.
Like it was like
a really
house,
nice
a really
boarding
nice
school with
Yeah.
free food and ice cream and ice lollies and a coffee machine. Yeah, there were lots of amenities there, and a nice pool and a yoga studio. We didn't actually use the yoga studio though, but we did go to the pool. It was nice.
Yeah, it was just strange, like seeing all those things, like it just became normal, and it shouldn't have. Like being somewhere like that and getting like treated so well, like it was just amazing.
And the food as well.
Yeah, just everything about it, and then you don't realize until you come home how amazing it actually was, and you look back on pictures and stuff, and you see.
I mean, we were never hungry. So.
Yeah, we were never hungry.
Well, I'll have to say I'm very jealous. Sounds amazing. So as you reflect back on the experience, to take a more sort of, you know, look back in hindsight, you know, what have you guys learnt? You know, what can you take away from the experience to help you going forwards?
I mean, I think one thing that I really had to manage was like the balance between revising and also all the rehearsals, because we had time to revise, but I guess you were so tired from all the rehearsals every day. It took a lot to like, you know, stay focused in your studying, and I think that I've really improved in like my time management skills and like.
Well, something that I learned with the Coronation was definitely that hard work can pay off, because obviously we spent so many months just practicing the same pieces, and to most people it would seem so repetitive, but the amount of new music we were learning, it didn't really feel like a hard task or something that felt like a chore. It more just felt that we were doing something amazing. So obviously there were times that it were just like, oh, another rehearsal, but I just tried to remember that what the end goal was and what we would achieve if we went through with it. So I think hard work and determination is definitely something I've taken away.
Something I'll definitely keep with me is all sort of the like tips and things which I sort of gathered through my singing experience the whole way through, from Mrs. McCartney and Mr. Net singing when he came across, sort of just like even the pronunciation of your words, or like how to sing something. And even for like me, obviously it was sort of a higher range than I would normally sing at, but I think it was such a great experience to have all those tips sort of for future life and singing.
Yeah, I think like our sight reading skills as well really improved, and like understanding of music, because we sang such like a range, and especially from like different time periods and stuff. I think we like improved in that as well.
We also, like, because there were so many rehearsals, we would have like 6 hours of rehearsals in some days. We like, our voices learned to endure a lot of singing, when previously it would have been like, I don't know, even in total with all of those, it would have been maybe like an hour and a half for a whole day. But we definitely learned how to manage our voices, and it's definitely made us stronger singers overall, I think.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I have to say, it certainly all paid off. You guys sounded amazing. So obviously, as you know, our theme for this year has been Great by Choice. So as others look on and, you know, would love to take part in something, you know, what advice would you give to them to be great by choice like you guys have been?
I think just to enjoy what you're doing. I think that's the main thing, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be able to get through it, I don't think. But yeah, I think if you're determined and want to do well, it's the only thing that can motivate you. And when you feel like you shouldn't be, like, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? You have to remember that there is a goal and you're working towards something. So I think that's what I would probably take.
Yeah, I think like making sure like to involve yourself in everything. Like I never would have gotten this opportunity if I hadn't involved myself in so much music in school. So I think just like getting involved, and then the opportunities just come from that.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same, sort of just if you're given an opportunity, just take it. You know, I came new to this school this year, and I mean, if I hadn't come, then obviously this wouldn't have happened. So I think you just need to like sort of make that jump and leap and just do that new thing. Or I mean, for this, like the opportunity that came from this, like you would have never expected it, but I mean, if you just take the opportunity when it comes,
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning, like, you're not always going to get every opportunity that's offered to you. There might be somebody else who's better at it than you are that day, but that's okay, and that there are other opportunities around the corner for you, and you'll never really run out of options as long as you keep looking for them.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, guys. I mean, the one takeaway I'm going to have is, you know, definitely that hard work pays off. I mean, you know, if you guys think back a couple of years, who would have thought, you know, looking, you know, the Coronation, it'd be, you know, 7 girls from Methody who'd be singing up there, you know, I mean, yeah, it's pretty remarkable. So, Sarah, Emily, Evie, Hannah, you guys are great by choice. Thank you very much. So guys, this is the end of this season. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope all of you guys listening will also be great by choice. Thanks very much.